about this. I believe the Atherton Dames have been consulted. I don't know who you consult with regard to public restrooms, but on a number of these issues, the parties who would be affected have been consulted. And with regard to something like the Arts Committee, we have spoken with the JPA. Meeting rooms can be in a library. As a matter of fact, there are libraries that actually rent out meeting rooms to outside entities. By that I mean outside of the jurisdiction. But they do have meeting rooms for the jurisdiction themselves. Remember, this library is owned by the town, the facility. And with regard to the Arts Committee, they would actually be, or a heritage room, it's considered part of the library and part of its function. But Denise can explain to you further.
Okay, we'll take some public comments. Denise?
Denise Cumberman, 74 Atherton Avenue. I would actually like to confirm Mayor Whitmer's point, which is this is for the purposes of the EIR, and we're really looking at what would be the most inclusive scenario for the library. We do think it's important to have these discussions. I mean, it's part of the planning process is to look at what is a current facility, the main house, and those uses, which are community, we looked at the community-based uses. Meeting rooms are typically in a number of new libraries, and these groups meet there once a month, and therefore in any community space or meeting room it could be accommodated if that is part of the final plan. And I would like to confirm that all the groups have been communicated with and this item was discussed. So thank you very much.
Any other public comments? Okay, we'll come back to the council for final discussion. Any?
Well, you know, I understand the EIR thing, as long as it doesn't get cast in concrete, that this is not a council approved plan for the thing. I can go along with that, but I would ask that we ask our staff to take a more detailed look at this basic library services question. And you know, Redwood City and Daly City libraries are being paid access fees for other students at the library. Menlo Park is not. There may be other options here to handle some of the unincorporated area folks that we haven't looked at. And I'd just like to get a clarification, and I think staff would be the group to do that, sitting down with the county library people and be able to bring back to us the facts and say, okay, these are the facts, and then I can shut up on this issue.
I'd like to move we adopt the motion authorizing the EIR consultant to include and evaluate the steering committee's proposed plan for relocation of the main house uses in the library building EIR.
I'd like to make an amendment to that. The relocation description of all the various relocation sites of the uses include the new town center site, and then a more general statement that would be more inclusive of other locations.
I don't.
Well, I'd like to ask staff if I may on that question. Obviously, we're doing the EIR for the potential build of a library. Is it appropriate to include another potential document that we haven't even started fundraising on, or building that's not, and say, well, it might go over there?
Well, I don't think it would be. I believe that you would be looking at specifically the preferred alternative is the library at the park. There are other alternatives that are being explored in the EIR. That there are two town center alternatives. There's the alternative of the existing library site. There's another alternative at the park. So I think in terms of this project description of the preferred alternative, it would be appropriate to designate existing buildings or facilities that are, that are constructed and not potentially in the future.
Thank you for making that clear.
I move that my motion stay as unamended and amended.
I'll second it.
Discussion,
Couldn't hear what you said.
My motion, I wanted to stand unamended.
Well, we have to,
Second.
if there's no second, it's going to die, so.
Was there a second?
Is there a second to the amendment to the motion?
You mean Elizabeth's?
Yes. If there's no second, it dies.
Okay.
discussion? Discussion of the motion?
No, we can.
Yeah, we can discuss the motion.
Discuss it.
Yeah, we can discuss the motion at this point. Okay. I just want to iterate again that we have a policy issue here regarding basic library services that we, the council, are going to have to make a decision on in the future. We are fiduciary responsible for these taxpayer dollars and how they're used. And if they're going to be used for a greater area than the town of Atherton, we need to make a specific policy decision that we can spend the taxpayer dollars doing that.
Is that an amendment to the motion?
No.
I told Councilman Carlson today that my understanding was that the area that was served by the present library and the area that was served by the new library is the same.
What's this
But
got to do with my
there's a big difference here. There's a big difference here in that
I don't get it either.
Could
Well,
I
can I,
ask
yeah,
what
well, I'd
any
like
of
to, I'd like to ask also, because I've read this, if I could, I think Councilmember Carlson, I think you've got an excellent point, and we really need to make sure that the library is sized appropriately and has things in there that are appropriate for Atherton because it's Atherton tax dollars. But when I read this, and maybe I've made a mistake, but I really don't see how the sizing of the library and activities that may or may not be used by non-Atherton residents is part of this request by the town planner to get worst-case planning so he can complete the EIR, do it effectively, and we don't waste the money that we've already spent on it. I just don't understand how that might be, and I don't mean to be disrespectful.
Mr. Mayor, I agree with you. I'm just trying to point out we have a policy issue we need to bring on the agenda at some point in time.
Okay, okay, yes.
Not tonight.
All right, so thank you very much, and I appreciate you indulging me on that. Okay, so I think we have a motion. Did we have a second on?
I'll second.
Okay. May I have a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, one opposed. Thank you. Thank you all, and thank you for allowing me my little comment. Next we have council reports. And,
So, if I understand, Elizabeth voted against it?
yes.
Okay.
I did submit a council report. I don't see it on the,
It's being handed out.
It was handed out to the council member.
oh, was it handed out? I've got Elizabeth's, but I didn't get mine handed out.
I didn't get Elizabeth's.
I'm passing this on. I have
You
mine.
got it now, Jim?
I have Councilmember Carlson.
No, I didn't bring a copy because I thought it would be handed
All
out.
right, okay.
I also thought there were going to be a handout tonight, the report from the ADAP committee. I didn't get either of those, either mine or the
I
ADAP
have
committee
it.
report.
I got it.
Yeah.
I emailed, but I might have left the hard copies on the table. I didn't get it.
Because,
Oh, okay, there's hard copies in back if anybody's interested in looking.
Yeah.
all right, would you like to walk through your council report, Jerry, just to hit the highlights and
Can
then
I
we
give
can?
it to you?
There's nothing earth-shaking, it's just, William covered a good deal of the things here. I'll just glance at it. The one area I just mentioned is PG&E. CCAG gets a monthly report from PG&E, and tonight the mayor of the town that had the problem.
San Carlos.
No.
San Bruno.
San Bruno,
San Bruno,
yeah.
sorry.
Made some comments. It continues to be a concern of the CCAG board in terms of the responses we're getting from both the PUC and PG&E on this. And The rest of it, you can read at your leisure.
Okay, thank you.
So,
Elizabeth?
well, my council report is, I guess the highlight was the League of Cities boot camp in January, and I recommend council members to attend. You gain a lot of information about how your role as a publicly elected official, the difference between a general law city and a charter city, and they have great discussions, and you meet lots of other mayors and vice mayors and council members from all over the state of California in all types of jurisdictions, and you get to share some of your experiences with them. So then I had lots of other fun things because the mayor was away on business. I got to attend the DARE graduation at Encinal School, and it was the largest ever class of DARE graduates, 191. And I, honestly, it was very uplifting. So that was the highlight. So.
And I'd like to encourage other council members, including myself, that as we have meetings, that we take the time to inform our other council members and the public with this, and we need to actually follow the lead of Councilmember Carlson, who every month has something in, and Elizabeth this month, the Vice Mayor, having something in as well. So thank you both, and we'll strive to do better, all of us, I hope. Then we move on to item number 22, which is colleagues' memos, encouraging consideration for items to be put on a future calendar. So the first one is events booking at Holbrook Palmer Park. Elizabeth? Okay, I'll discuss this one real quick.
No, I don't think there's going to be a discussion on this, can there?
It's just yea or nay.
Yeah, yea or nay, up or down.
Or just to read it, maybe.
I think we've all read it. I think
Okay, all right. So can we have a vote on whether or not it's acceptable for the council to hear this in a future, hopefully very soon, council meeting?
It's fine.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that motion passes. The second one is regarding building and distributing a handbook for committee members and commissioners. All in favor?
That was easy, see?
Okay, good.
Mr. Mayor, can I suggest that staff be allowed to add some items, for instance, brief description of the Brown Act and the Fair Political Practices Commission role with respect to conflicts, those kinds of
Right,
things?
yeah, there's no, I don't think that there's a restriction that has to be for this. And I would think on some of the other ones, council or staff may want to consider how we could price bookings and things like that as it's coming forward, so.
I think that I would expect to see a staff report on each of these items, and you raised in question the city manager's report about the staffing of events, and you had setting up and tearing down. I didn't understand the supervision one though. You mean monitoring the event, or I don't see it see the staff supervising the event?
From a risk control perspective, they said
Well, it needs to be kind of spelled out in that direction. Then
right.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is an appropriate time for them to maybe set a date or discuss maybe the week we want to hold a special meeting to develop the criteria for the city manager, vetting resumes for permanent city manager. That should be held within the next.
Why don't we send out an invite and use your little thing on it? You've got that excellent thing
As soon
for
as
finding
possible.
everybody.
Yeah.
But on these two other events, if we could maybe put a calendar on them that says we do it in the next council meeting.
Yeah, our council rules state that they have to be on within the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, great. All right, so thank you all for the support of those two items. We now have, it's not 10:25, but we're not going to break the record that Jim set just a year ago, but we're on public comments. Okay, seeing none, can we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all, thank you staff.
Thank you.